What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. I just want to focus in on the Boston Bruins. Really struggling as of late. Really just playing some abysmal hockey. The season ended right now. They're not in the playoffs. I believe they've played the most games in their division. Actually, no, they haven't. Tampa, Detroit, and Montreal. And yeah, they've played the same amount of games as Toronto. But yeah, you catch my drift. It's a dog eat dog world for the Bruins, and the Eastern Conference is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And maybe that's shame on me for not giving teams the credit they deserve. But the exception of really just Carolina, even Buffalo's not that dead. I mean, Buffalo's 6 points out of a playoff spot. They're a long shot, but we're still talking early in the season. Anything could change. Carolina's dead in the water, but it's a tough thing for the Bruins. I mean, I think so many people just figured, oh yeah, they'd be the best team in their division. Tampa's exponentially better than they are. The Detroit Red Wings are playing some amazing hockey, and you're foolish to count out Montreal. And then you factor in the fact Toronto's playing awesome, and the Florida Panthers are tied with the Bruins in terms of points. Have played two less games, and I think are really just hitting that stride. I mean, the young talent's playing amazing. And Roberto Luongo's really having a renaissance year. And speaking of young talent, Aaron Ekblad's playing well beyond his years. But just looking at the situation with the Bruins, getting Zdeno Chara back's great, but at the same time, they're still missing David Krejci. That first line hasn't been the same. I mean, I like the kid Craig Cunningham. He's on second line forward in the NHL where he was playing yesterday. Chris Kelly's on second line center in the NHL either. I mean, all due respect to Mr. Kelly. You put too much of an onus on Bergeron's line, Marchand, and Riley Smith, but it's just I think they should have probably kicked the tires on Jeremy Morin from the Chicago Blackhawks. They could have used someone like him, even though he's yet another unproven commodity. They got to make a move. They got to do something because they've been hit with the injury bugs, and quite frankly, you let a 30-goal scorer like Joe McGinley walk away last year. You make no effort to replace him. You trade away top three defenseman in Johnny Boychuk and get draft picks back. What do you expect? I mean, I understand the salary cap situation. It's tough, but the bottom line is it's a bottom line kind of league. It's what are you doing for me right now? Are you winning hockey games or are you not winning hockey games? And the Bruins aren't winning hockey games. And I think the onus right now is on Peter Strelly to do something bold. I mean, would I suggest something big like Keith Yano or something? I don't think so. I think they'll acquire, and I would love to see them bring a hometown kid home. But they need a forward, and they're not elaborating on what Krejci's injury is. That's been a topic of discussion. I think he'll be back this week. Knock on wood. But it's just how do you get yourself back in it after being after falling out of it like they have? It's not an easy transition. I thought David Pastrnak didn't look bad, but if you've seen every piece I've done, every piece I've written about him, it's that he's not ready, and to expect an 18-year-old kid to turn this season around is naive at best. And I think it's great that they're lowering him to the Czech WJC team. I think he'll have a huge turn over there, but the Bruins are going to do something. I don't know what is. I mean, I can sit here and speculate all day long, and well, they make this trade and that trade, or maybe something will, the other shoe will drop, but um, it's just it's the drawback of playing in a capped league and having so many great players where you got to give them all contracts, and now it's like, oh, we have no flexibility, and you had to let a really great player like Joe McGinley walk last summer, and again you had to trade away Johnny Boychuk in that thing, and you got nothing to show for it. I mean, they got picks back in the Boychuk deal, but those picks aren't helping them right now. So it's just something to keep an eye on as the season goes on. They can't fall too much further out of it. This reminds me a lot of the 2009-2010 season that ultimately culminated in the 0-3 collapse of the Flyers, where they were awful early. They kind of hit a bit of a heater right around the Olympic break, and ended up making the playoffs and went the second round. Which, if you told me that in November that year, I wouldn't have believed you. That's how flat they were, but. We'll see what happens. I think there's a move to be made, and the onus is on Peter Strelly in the front office to get it done. Claude can yell, scream all he wants at the team, but the bottom line is, with the injuries they've had, they're really not a good team. I'm not knocking a guy like Craig Cunningham or a kid like Seth Griffith, but that's just the way it is. You need more NHL forwards, and you get a lot of untested guys playing bigger minutes than you'd be more comfortable with under different circumstances. And we'll see what happens with everything else going forward. But, you know, again, got to do something. That's our episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for episodes of the season and beyond. Later, guys.